Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping straight into something huge. Our culture's obsession with personality tests.
Right, and this deep-seated belief that your personality is just fixed, something you find, not something you build.
Exactly. We spend so much time trying to discover our authentic self. Find our type, our color code.
Myers-Briggs, Enneagram, DISC, the list goes on.
But what if pinning ourselves down like that? What if it's actually holding us back, stopping us from becoming who we could be?
That's really the core of what we want to get into today. We're offering a kind of shortcut, looking at the evidence that shows personality isn't fixed.
And showing you, the listener, how to switch from just finding yourself to actually designing yourself.
Because personality really seems to be a consequence of your goals and your purpose. It's not the cause. We're going to explore how you can become the architect of your identity.
Okay, let's ground this. There's this anecdote from one of the sources about the color code test. It really highlights the risks.
Ah, yes, the reds, blues, whites, yellows. Reds are driven, blues about relationships.
Whites are introspective, yellows seek fun. So the author identifies as a white. Quiet, thoughtful. He was dating a red, very type A, high energy.
Okay, I can see where this might be going.
Well, when things got serious, her family genuinely freaked out. They thought she'd just, quote, walk all over him.
Seriously, based on the test.
Dead serious.
Yeah.
They actually said she needs a real man, not a white.
Wow, so a personality label from a pretty simple test almost wrecked their future together.
It really shows how much weight we give these things. These labels can box people in, regardless of who they actually are or could become together.
That perfectly captures that mainstream idea, doesn't it? That your personality is just innate, hardwired. You find out what it is, and then you just, well, live with it.
Your job is just to take the test, get the result, and manage your life inside that box.
And philosophically, this really ties back to something called causal determinism, the idea that everything, including who you are, is just the result of prior causes, genes, upbringing, past events.
Like we're just dominoes falling, no real agency.
Pretty much. In that view, your delta hand, that's your personality, and suggesting you can fundamentally change, it sounds like. Wishful thinking, magical thinking even.
But that doesn't quite match how people feel, does it?
Mm.
The sources mention that over 90% of people aren't happy with at least one aspect of their personality. They want to change.
Exactly. There's this internal drive to evolve, even if we're told we can't.
And the science,
Yeah.
does it back up the fixed idea?
Not at all, actually. That's the kicker. If personality were fixed, long-term studies should show stability. But there's this huge study started in Scotland with over 1,200 teenagers.
And they followed them for how long?
60 years. And when they reassessed them, decades later,
What did they find? Were they the same?
almost none of them were. Their personalities were radically different from what the initial tests suggested they'd be like as adults, sometimes unrecognizably so.
So the conclusion is, personality changes. It's
Yeah.
not set in stone.
It's dynamic, malleable, constantly evolving. You are absolutely not stuck.
Okay, that's huge.
Yeah.
So if we can change, how does that actually happen? Is it conscious? Do we train it?
It seems very much trained and chosen. Look at the case of Vanessa O'Brien. It's a fantastic example of designing your personality.
Okay, tell us about her.
So back in 2009, she was a top finance executive, classic type A driven, predictable, high on conscientiousness and extroversion if you use the Big Five model. Probably lower on openness.
Right. Then the 2008 crash happened.
And it basically blew up her old identity. But instead of just finding another finance job, she chose a totally new, massive purpose. She decided to become a world-class mountain climber and explorer.
That's quite a pivot.
It's what our sources call a massively transformative purpose, or
Right.
MTP, a goal that's huge, aspirational, bigger than yourself.
For North Star.
Exactly. And by 2019, she'd climbed the highest peak on every continent. But more importantly, her personality had shifted. She wasn't career-driven anymore, she was purpose-driven.
Focus on the planet, human potential.
Right. More agreeable, way more open to experience. Her likely test scores would have completely flipped. The purpose literally forced her to train a new way of being.
So the MTP didn't just change her activities, it fundamentally rewired her.
That's the key. A single, huge, focused purpose can change your behavior, and your personality follows suit.
Okay, so this points to a really fundamental shift in how we should think. Instead of asking, who am I, looking backward.
We need to look forward. Ask, who do I want to become? This is an old idea, actually, teleology.
Teleology, meaning our behavior is pulled by the future goal.
Exactly. Driven by the end purpose, not just pushed by the past. Think about Andre Norman.
The guy who went from prison to Harvard.
Yeah, he started as a traumatized kid, dropped out, became a gang leader in prison. His goal then, to be the king of nowhere, basically, through violence.
Yeah.
That was his dark purpose.
And that purpose shaped his identity then. Aggressive, nihilistic.
Totally. Until he had this revelation, he decided his old purpose was a dead end. He set a new one, a crazy one. I'm going to Harvard.
From maximum security prison.
Yep.
And that single goal, Harvard, became his new trumpet, like the source says. It shaped everything. He taught himself law, read hundreds of books, retrained his instincts.
And he actually did it. Became a Harvard fellow.
Because his goal dictated his identity, his personality was shaped by the future he was aiming for.
Okay, so goals are the key, but where do these big, life-changing goals come from? They don't just appear, right?
No, they don't. The sources point to three main sources, or wellsprings. First one is exposure.
Exposure, just seeing new things.
Pretty much, you can't aim for something you don't even know exists. Like the author shifting from counseling psychology to IO psychology only after meeting someone from Apple in China.
Ah, he didn't know that field was an option before.
Exactly. So you have to intentionally expose yourself, travel, read widely, talk to different kinds of people, expand your menu of possible futures.
Makes sense. What's the second source?
Desire. And this is a tricky one. We tend to think desire is something you find, like, what's my passion?
Right, but you're saying it's trained? Yes. You have to learn to want what your future self wants. It might feel like an acquired taste at first, like wanting to get up early or eat healthy or practice a difficult skill.
So passion follows action, not the other way around.
Pretty much. You start doing it, you get better, mastery builds, then the desire and passion catch fire. You train the desires of the future you, starting now.
Okay. Exposure, desire. What's the third?
Confidence. This is critical. Confidence is the bedrock of imagination, of believing a different future is possible, and it's built through courage.
How so? Like the example of the overweight man running.
Exactly. He didn't wait to get fit. He ran now, publicly, brazenly, as the source puts it, even feeling self-conscious. That act of courage, acting as if he were already his future self.
That built real confidence to prove to himself he could do it.
It's a power move. An action so bold it rewires your belief about what's possible for you.
Okay, this is powerful stuff. But what about the past? People feel so defined by it. Trauma, upbringing.
Ah, yes, the personality comes from your past myth. It's deeply ingrained. Like Antonio in The Tempest saying, what's past is prologue to justify his actions. The past made me do it.
But you're saying the past isn't prologue.
It doesn't have to be. It feels like it dictates the present, but there's another way to look at it. Dr. Brent Slife put it brilliantly.
How do you phrase it?
He said something like, it's more accurate to say the present causes the meaning of the past than the past causes the meaning of the present.
Whoa, okay. And unpack that. The present changes the meaning of the past.
Think about it. An event happens. Say, Tucker Max's movie bombing. At the time, it felt like a huge failure that happened to him. Terrible.
Right.
But years later, looking back from a place where he was happier and healthier, he saw it differently. That failure became the necessary event that forced him into therapy, forced him to change. The meaning shifted entirely.
Ah, I get it. The event didn't change, but its role in his story did. It became something that happened for him.
Exactly. And that reframing is crucial for dealing with trauma, too. Peter Levine talks about trauma not just being the event, but what we hold inside in the absence of an empathetic witness.
An empathetic witness.
Yeah.
Someone who helps you process it.
Precisely. Think about Rosalie, who stopped drawing for 50 years after one mean comment from a teacher. She held on to that pain, built an identity around it.
Versus Lauren, who had severe abuse trauma.
But she actively sought out empathetic witnesses, talked about it, processed it. She didn't let the past define her future identity. She reshaped its meaning.
So agency lies in how we frame the past from our present and future goals.
Absolutely. Which leads us to the final piece, actively designing your environment.
Environment redesign. Because context shapes who we are.
Massively. Context shapes the roles we play, and roles shape identity. Remember that Harvard study with the elderly men?
Yeah, where they put them in a setting that looked like 1959.
Meticulously recreated 1959. Music, magazines, everything. And they were told to act as if they were 20 years younger.
And it worked.
Yeah.
Physically.
Astonishingly well. In just 5 days, their eyesight improved, grip strength increased, dexterity got better. Measurable biological changes just from changing the context and the role they were playing.
Wow. So we can engineer our own environments to support the identity we want.
Yes. And there are tools for this. First, Strategic remembering.
Meaning putting reminders in your space.
Exactly, like a culture wall with key principles. Never be the former anything. 100% is easier than 98%. Constant visual cues activating your future self's mindset.
Okay, second tool,
Strategic ignorance. This one's tough for many.
ignoring things. Like what?
Inputs that sabotage you. Maybe it's the news cycle, toxic social media, maybe even certain people or types of conversations that drag you back to your old self. Jason Fried said he's oblivious to a lot of things intentionally.
You have to curate your inputs to get different outputs. Makes sense.
And the third tool, forcing functions.
Forcing functions.
Yeah.
Situations that compel action.
Right. Like Chef David Chang giving Christina Tosi just 3 hours to create a whole pastry menu for Milk Bar.
That sounds impossible.
It seemed like it, but that extreme constraint, that forcing function, pushed her to innovate and execute in a way she never would have with unlimited time and no pressure. It forced her to become that high-level pastry chef on the spot.
She had to step into the role immediately. That's really powerful.
It is. So look, the big shift we're really pushing for here is this. Stop thinking of personality as your deep, true, authentic self. It's more like the surface. It's malleable. It's a result of your choices, your goals, your environment.
So stop trying to find yourself.
Yeah, that search often just leads to navel-gazing, maybe mediocrity. It's about creating yourself through intention and purpose.
Like Joe Burrow, the LSU quarterback.
Great example. He transfers to LSU, basically an unknown quantity, and right away says he expects to win the Heisman Trophy 2 years later.
Which sounded pretty bold at the time.
Extremely. But when asked later if he'd have believed it back then, he said, yeah, absolutely. I knew the work I'd put in. His identity was already anchored to that future goal, not his past stats.
His purpose came first, performance followed, and that solidified the identity.
You got it. And you, the listener, have that same power.
You absolutely can be the architect of your own identity. So maybe think about your own ultimate goal, your MTP, your ideal future self, and ask, what's one committed decision, one real power move you could make today?
Something your future self would thank you for. Something that makes a whole bunch of other smaller decisions easier or automatic or just irrelevant. Start building.